now, shall we get on to some awards, everyone?
Yay!
Yes.
I was going to say, no, I need more enthusiasm. Shall we get on to some awards, everyone?
Hooray!
There's the teacher in me coming out once more. Let's do it. Right. So we did this as a group chat, and we asked some other people that we know fans of the game to give us their opinions on things such as goal of the season for the Super League and the Championship, player of the season, best clanger of the season, which you'll all see very shortly, our red cards of the season, underrated players, and of course, our teams of the season. Yeah, Graham, absolutely. We do need more rehearsals. So you will be staying after the podcast for 30 minutes. I don't have to call your parents because it's only half an hour. And we will practice in unison. So now, a couple of these we do still need to vote on. Okay, so everyone in the chat as well, feel free if you agree with us, if you disagree. Obviously, we absolutely love it. So, haha. Okay. So these are our WSL Goal of the Season nominees. Now, if, of course, the people in the chat did nominate these, please feel free to do one last plea for why they should be Goal of the Season. Now, we've got Grace Clinton versus Brighton, Yaya versus Spurs, Katie McCabe versus Bristol, Leanne Kernan versus Chelsea, sorry, Rosie, Dan Turner versus City, Erin Cuthbert versus West Ham, and Martha Thomas versus Villa. Would anyone like to make a last plea for which one should win before we announce who I think might be the winner?
Am I allowed to announce my personal interest on Martha Thomas's goal because it's my commentary on it?
Yes.
So I might be a bit biased with that one, but it was an absolute belter of a goal as well.
It was. It really was. Now, Emma, are you on the chat as well as?
No, they're on my iPad downstairs.
Brilliant. Oh, I love that. I was like, you can say that if that's you. Oh, that's brilliant. Now, Emma, as another resident Villa fan, can you explain Dan Turner's goal versus City and how incredible of a moment that was, please?
Oh, well, Dan Turner's a defender, so obviously she doesn't score goals, but it just sort of came out of nowhere. She just like the ball just landed on her foot and it was in the goal. It was just beautiful.
And everyone just kind of went, what? How did that go in? Even Dan. And in fact, today, congratulations to Dan Turner because she won Goal of the Season. It was voted for. It's been official. And it's absolutely amazing what she's done. So I will say overall, our winner was Grace Clinton versus Brighton. If you can't recall this one, would love to show you, but because of copyright, we can't. It was an absolute 30-yard screamer. And yeah, it was just one of those goals where you went, yeah, that was satisfaction. That was great. So well done, Grace Clinton. We have voted you the Goal of the Season. Congratulations to you. Okay, our next one is the Championship Goal of the Season. The nominees here are Jenna Deer's first goal versus Lewis in the dying moments, Martha Harris versus Birmingham City, Sinead Hopcroft versus Lewis, and Elise Hughes versus Reading. And again, did anyone have anything to say for these ones before we go on to the winner? Paul?
See, I am torn between two, because Rosie picked the Sinead Hopcroft one, and when I saw that, I thought that was incredible. But also, Martha Harris had to run from Solihull in order to strike the ball. When she scored for Birmingham City, and it was a proper Roberta Carlos special. So, if you're torn between the two, Sinead Hopcroft was great technique. Martha Harris was a proper thunder bastard of a goal. So it depends which one you like.
What an adjective. Absolutely love it. And I will say for the Jenna Deer versus Lewis one, so that came from Ant, our lovely Ant. That one was more, it was phenomenal the way it happened, but it was the importance of it, because that was the match where Sunderland were down, and that was the equaliser that got them back in the game. And then Genevieve again a couple of minutes later got the winner in the dying moment. So all of these four were very, very well deserving. But we did actually go for... It was Sinead Hopcroft, Graham. Yeah, sorry, with gritted teeth, I have to give it to Sinead. It was brilliant. Rosie, now you nominated this one, didn't you? What was it about it that you thought, yeah, that's a goal of the season?
I can't really remember. It was just brilliant technique. I just thought, how on earth, like, how do you think of doing that? I don't know. I was very impressed.
I think it's when it's one of those goals where you're like, I just remember the feeling of being impressed.
What? Yeah. How?
Yeah. But yeah, Crystal Palace have had some absolute smashes this season. Yeah. Absolutely. Right now, we've got WSL Player of the Season nominees. And it was quite nice, actually, that, yes, we had some of the obvious ones, as you can probably see, but we tried to look at players who, again, just made us feel like they really deserved it as well. So we had Stina Blackstenius, Bunny Shaw, Elizabeth Turland, or Liz, as she's now known, Aggie Beaver-Jones, and Kiara Keating. Paul, do you want to say anything about our Liz?
I do want to talk about our Liz. Sorry to anybody who doesn't like me calling her Liz, but she is now Liz from now on. And I think the reason I love her so much, our Liz, is because Bunny Shaw is an obvious pick, because she's a machine. Good old Emma Blackstenius as well. Iconic goals. But Liz Turland has got the same stats of Lauren James with about a 100th of the hype, and she just deserves more recognition than she gets. To do that in a 10th, 11th place team without her brighten her down easily, and I think her value to the team is huge. But now I want to vote for Aggie Beaver-Jones just because of breakout season. So, like, genuinely, any one of five. And I'm very conscious I'm the only one making cases here. So, like, you guys need to make cases as well.
Yeah. Chloe, what do you think out of these five? Who would you go for?
I think I'd go for Liz Turland. Like, I think she's been absolutely phenomenal for this season. Like, yeah, I just think she's just been really good. Like, some of the goals she scored have been like impeccable as well. Like, she has scored some bangers, and considering Brighton have also been in like a little bit of a relegation battle at one point. I mean, everyone's been in a bit of a relegation point. But let's be real, the season has been the season of relegation battles.
Yeah, but
no, I think she's been really good. I've really enjoyed watching her. So, or your friend of mine, Emma. I think Emma has also been really good, like stopping City winning. Fair play to her.
Oh, yeah, that's it. And again, this is what we found so hard, wasn't it? There are so many moments that you just wish you could kind of put together in just a culmination of how great the season was. But yeah, I mean, any one of those five could have won it. However, there was an overwhelming shout for Bunny to get it, just because we've actually seen since she's been injured how much City have missed her and how much of a crucial point she was to the team. I'm just going to remove this a second because Graham has asked a very important question. Where is Nancy with her choices? Paul, we need Nancy.
Nancy is sat in the other room. She sung the song of her people at about 5 o'clock every single morning this week. So I think that's her giving her choices. I think she'd have picked. She'd probably have picked Bunny Shaw as well. She wouldn't have picked Grace Clinton for goal of the season for the WSL. She agrees with her owner there, but like I'll go with the majority for that one. I'd have picked Erin Cuthbert because she hit that ball and it bloody well stayed hit. But
was that the one where she came on and went, right, I'm dealing with this?
Yeah,
yeah.
proceeded to send the ball into another time zone. Like,
in fact, I think it's still going. If you can listen really, really carefully, you can still hear the ball moving through that net. But yeah, it was an absolute stunner. Absolutely. Yeah, and we've just had in the comments as well, Turland apparently going to United. Well, that is the rumour. Hopefully she makes the right choice for her. Let's say that. Let's keep it there.
That was diplomatic. Considering the row I've been having, that was very diplomatic.
Yeah, I thought let's be on the fence, just this once. That's the only one of the show. Sitting on the fence about it. But yeah, let's just hope each transfer they're doing the right thing for them. And also, Lucia Garcia is apparently going to Mexico as well, isn't she? That came out today. Apparently, they offered her a very lucrative offer. So fair play to her. Hope she has a very good go over there. Okay, back to our awards then. We've got Women's Championship Player of the Season nominees. Now, if you have been watching us every week, you will know that these three names come up, well, every single week, to be honest. And any of the three could have deserved it. So we had Claudia Moan, Elise Hughes, and Izzy Goodwin, of course. Just while we're on, would anyone like to sing any praises for any of these three players? Because I know we have done all season, but anything in particular?
Just Claudia's been amazing.
Well, yeah, absolutely. They all have. Again, it's those moments where you think a goal's gone in, right, it's probably Elise or Izzy. Claudia's kept Sunderland in it, pretty much all of the season. And some games she definitely counted towards, whether it was a draw or a win. She kept that deficit down. So we did overwhelmingly choose Claudia as our Women's Championship Player of the Season. Again, impeccable talent. And I think we said it on the group chat, didn't we? She should have got called up as a reserve for the Lionesses because she got the Golden Glove in the championship this season. So we would have absolutely loved Claudia to get a call up. However, she's still very young. So hopefully that is still on the cards if she keeps proving her worth, which I'm very, very sure that she will. Okay, next up, right, this one, I thought this would be a fun one. We called this our Clanger of the Season, okay? Now, the definition of my version of Clanger is what was the funniest / what the hell moment that happened during this season. And funnily enough, one really sprung to mind, but I wanted to give you an option of three, and we do need to vote for it now. So people in the chat, get ready. Your comments and your votes will be going on this as well. So the nominees for Clanger of the Season are Soccergate, Chelsea versus Arsenal, One Ball at the Continental Cup Final, and Christy Mewis versus the Corner Flag.
That was brilliant.
So, again, people in the comments, we will be taking your votes as well. So please do get them in now. Which one do you think was the biggest clanger of the season? Chloe, talk us through these three. Can you believe that they happened?
No. Well, Sockgate is just a story in itself. Arsenal forgot their sock. Well, they didn't forget the socks. They remembered the socks, but it was the same colour as Chelsea, so we had to change them and buy some at the Chelsea Superstore so that they could have different socks. And the Conti Cup final, Jonas Eidevall decided that he only wanted to play with one ball and then got annoyed that they were playing with one ball when it was his idea. And I actually forgot about Christian Mewis versus the Corner Flag, but it's absolutely brilliant. And I can't remember who they were playing, but I think it was a night of a storm or something, and the wind was just blowing so badly at Christie, and the ball just kept moving away from the corner. The flag was just like waving all over. It was hitting the official. It was hitting Christie. She's getting annoyed because the ball's not staying. The official's going, it's fine. She's like, the ball's... Everyone's getting annoyed, and it was just absolutely hilarious.
It was just the fact that every time she moved it, she was like, I just physically can't take this corner kick. Like, can someone just intervene? Can we break the rules for just once so I can just kick this ball?
It's how calm the official kept. She was just like, it's fine. She was like, just take your time. It's so good. And Chrissy's like, I'm not going to take my time. She's getting more and more annoyed to the point where she's like, I'll take a yellow if it. She's like, I'll have a yellow if I have to, because she just got so impatient and kicked it. Like, yeah, go.
It was against Spurs. I have just checked. It was against Spurs during Storm Isha. That's the one. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, if you missed Christy Mewers versus the corner flag, please do look it up. It's the funniest couple of minutes you'll ever see. Poor Christy with this one. Rosie, what do you think? Which one would get your vote?
Definitely Southgate. I mean, I was at the game and we heard over the loudspeaker that the kickoff was delayed, and I thought, oh, that's weird. Wonder what it's about. And I heard some kind of murmurs from behind me saying, they've forgotten their socks. Must have forgotten their socks. And I said, surely not. There's no way. So then we heard over the loudspeaker, kickoff has been delayed I think it was due to a kit issue. I was like, what? And then obviously we heard that they had to go to the mega store. So, because I thought that was a joke. And then Sky Sports.
You would. Yeah.
Like, oh, they're not joking. But yeah, it was so funny.
It was just, because I remember watching it on Sky Sports. And I think we were all talking in the group chat as well, weren't we? And I was like, guys, Sky Sports are saying, that kickoff's delayed because of a sock issue. Is that right? And you and other Chloe were like, yeah. Yeah, they've got the wrong socks on. Yeah, they've got the shot in. Brilliant. Paul, what gets your vote for Clanger of the season?
It has to be Sockgate, doesn't it? Like, I don't want to pick the Continental Cup final because of the actual controversy around it, because
True.
What it caused. Christy Mewes versus the corner flag was one of those things that was great, but it didn't create like weeks of memes, did it? Like,
I mean, we can bring it back. I think we can definitely start.
Was
that her debut as well?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Oh, that's even better. Sorry, Christine.
I think it was. Wasn't it the one match that she played like fully fit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the WSL. But no, I you've got to go Sockgate, because you could argue that it was an unintentional thing. Arsenal forgot it, and it brought down great trial and tribulation upon them. You could have said it was Pandora's socks.
Oh, very good.
There you go. There's your one-liner.
Oh, I love it. Sockgate. Emma, what do you think? What's got your vote for Clanger of the season?
I mean, it's got to be Sockgate, because, I mean, what makes it better is the fact that they were late to the Villa match the week after. It just tops it all off.
and even better, I don't think we've told this story before, Emma, but everyone, all of the fans then said, we're going to take loads of pairs of socks. So everyone brought socks in the stands and were waving them, going, have you remembered your socks? Like, waving at the thing. So I think that created some phenomenal banter for the fans that week. I have just seen in the chat, JBR's put, I'd like to add the Villa goalkeeper getting a red for handling outside the box. Bit rude when you got two Villa fans on the chat. But no, you're absolutely right. I'd forgotten about that. I'd put that out of my memory. But however, that turned into Sophia Pua having a brilliant run. Rosie, why have you got legs behind you? Oh, it's the socks. Right. I just saw two thighs and I was like, okay.
You wouldn't let me have it like that way up.
It's just like, why have you got something out of your head? What's going on?
All of a sudden your head's like, yeah.
Rosie's being drop kicked apparently from Grace.
Amazing.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so overwhelmingly, Sockgate, you have won the Clanger of the Season award. Now, from something very silly to something a bit more serious, we asked the group for their red card of the season. Now, this is something that's either annoyed us or offended us, and something that we really want to see a change for. So, all of us got together and we said, we're going to give a red card to the hate that only certain players seem to face, both online and from officiating. Emma Hayes giving up the title race. We all remember that moment. Inconsistencies and standards with refereeing and officiating, and also commentary bias in the media. So we'll go around if anyone's got anything to say about these points in a bit more detail, and the reasons why this needs to change. We've put a lot on Yuko, but we really do need to see better standards, really, don't we? Chloe, have you got anything to say on these points?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Emma Hayes giving up the title race, because that one was mine. Because that was like a shock of the season moment, because it was like, what on earth is happening? Because well, we didn't know that they were going to go on and win it later on, but it was one of those moments, because we were like live when she said it, we was kind of stopped and went, is she saying this? Is she seriously just giving up? Like, is she being serious, saying, oh yeah, we're done, Chelsea aren't going to win it this year, we're not going to get the points, basically saying they're going to lose the next 2 games and we're going to lose. And it's like, is she being tactical or does she genuinely mean it? Because she said the same thing the week after, like, oh, we're not in it, we're not going to do it anymore, we're not going to win. And it's like, is she being serious? This is Emma Hayes. Is she taking the mick? Is she being serious?
Yeah.
Like, why has she just suddenly given up? And it was just a huge shock, and it's one I'd say is like a red card, because it shocked us all, because we were silent for a good 5 minutes after.
Which made it a very good live show. We're all just there like, what? What is happening?
That's why I nominated it.
But yeah, it did. It completely stunned us. And clearly it worked, because they won the league in the end. But yeah, if she could just not do that for the US, that would be great for that one. Rosie, if you got anything you'd like to add for any of these points?
I mean, on the Emma Hayes one, I think it definitely was some kind of mind games to sort of either anger the players or, take the pressure off them. But it did shock me when I heard it. I was like disappointed as a fan, because we were all still like, we can very much win this. And to hear your manager say something like that, it's a bit like, oh, okay. But yeah, it worked, obviously. My vote was for the first one, the hate only certain players face. So obviously, Lauren James gets a lot of stick in the media for doing absolutely anything and everything. But it's also on the pitch. So we've obviously signed Myra Ramirez this season. She's unreal. Genuinely one of the best. I mean, she's the most expensive WSL signing ever, and I think she's proven that. But you can see she's very, very strong, and she's very physical. So if she touches someone, that's a foul. And it's I mean, you see it. Obviously, I'm very aware that I'm white, but you see it often with players of colour, and you just think there has to be something there, because I've never seen white players be ref the same way that Myra Ramirez, Lauren James, Bunny Shaw are ref. And you just think that's not a coincidence. So yeah, it's disappointing.
Yeah, because we've talked about it before with Howard Sissoko as well. She gets a lot of unfair challenges as well. And you just think, how unconscious and how deep is some bias that you don't even realise you're doing it. You just, certain players do get... It's the brunt of a lot of it, isn't it? And we're not saying other players don't get anything, but we're saying there's a really unfair proportion of reds, yellows, fouls given against players who are not white. So yes, that's been a big talking point for us. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's also because, I mean, I keep talking about Myra, but she's at the centre of it, in my opinion. At least, she's been injured twice this season since she's starting for us in January. So I got that right. But it's like constantly fouls don't get called on her. So she literally taps someone and that's a foul. But like, she's just been injured so much, and you just think, would she have been injured if they wouldn't let like people get away with so much on her? No, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's that two ways, isn't it? It's then on the player as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not just against them. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. Emma, we'll come to you next. Have you got any comments or anything else that's annoyed you this season?
The reffing and officiating inconsistencies, they just boil my blood. Like, especially at the start of the season as well. Like at the start of the season, I think they brought in a new rule to do with yellow cards or something, or was it time wasting? So then all the refs were just giving out yellow cards like they were going out of fashion, and it was just so annoying. And in a similar way to what Rosie's just been saying about certain players only getting like carded or the hate. Look at Maya Letitia. Like, I personally think she's one of the dirtiest players that's just got away with so much this season. Like, there's a few instances in like the Villa matches where she's taken out players nowhere near the ball. I think she took out Maya Ramirez as well in one of the Chelsea matches and got nothing for it. Like, it's just so annoying and so unfair. Like, just annoys me.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It was that one, was the Villa match, wasn't it? It was the opening game of the season, and she took out Ebony Salmon, I think, completely off the ball. And because the ref was looking, obviously, where the ball was and how the players were interacting there, because it was off the ball, it got missed. Apart from everyone in the crowd being like, "Whoa, ref! You know, look at what's just happened." You know, Ebony Salmon's on the floor, and yeah, got nothing. And yet, Kirsty Hansen goes in to get the ball and gets a red for. It was a high boot. We have talked about it, but yeah, you just think the comparison there with the intent versus an accident late challenge. So yeah, we just want it to be consistent, don't we?
Yeah,
that's what it is. Absolutely. Oh, I hear a meow, Paul.
There you go, Graham.
Nancy like to say?
Go on then. What are you after? She just sat by the door yelling at me. I actually picked the kind of commentary bias in the media thing, and the pronunciation. I think Nuco desperately need to fix that. But
yeah, not that one.
I think I'm going to go with. As a part of that, and Nancy being a black cat as well, I know which one she picked. The way that there is an unconscious racial bias in the WSL, and it's blatant. Like, nobody seems to want to acknowledge it or accept it, or yes, Nancy, I agree. I'm telling them, or anything. And like Lauren James is the most obvious example of it because of the way she's talked about compared to Katie McCabe. But Myra Ramirez as well, the way she's refereed is questionable, to say the least. And I think part of that is because there aren't many players like her, that level of battering ram. So they assume that it must be, she's flattening players by doing stuff illegally, not just raw strength. But it comes from, because she was involved in that Ireland v Colombia game where a lot of the media said that Colombia were being overly rough.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And when England played Colombia as well, there was all the talk of, they're very physical. It's like, questionably physical. And it's like, no, she's just playing like a centre forward. And if you can't deal with it, it's because you're up against shrinking violets like Leslie Russo every week, who are 45 yards from goal rather than where they should be. But there you go. There's Nancy. She's just making an appearance.
Makes an appearance.
But yeah, I think I go further than just saying the hate certain players receive, and I'd say it is very much a race issue, whether consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that the WSL desperately needs to address.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we can't keep it. It's because, as simple as it sounds, it's not fair. Exactly, Nancy. Thank you.
There you
And,
She's
and
getting
again,
carried out now. She's getting ejected. That's what was going on there.
she's getting too raucous. She's like, no, I need to be in. I need to say my piece. But yeah, we just need it where everything is just and fair on everything, and we're still a long way from that. But that's sorted by making the refs full time, giving them the pay and the respect and the training that they need. Graham just said Nancy's been red carded. She's been escorted
Unjustly as well.
Unjustly, yes, absolutely. There was no warning. She just went. She got sent off.
If she'd been called Katie, she would have been allowed to stay. Like,
she'll come in with a new name badge next week. Like, hey, don't kick me out. Brilliant. Right. So the next thing we're going to come to, the last of our awards, and I say awards, we had to try and pick our team of the season. Now, I think in the chat has been a good 3 or 4 days of all of us going, are we putting this person in? No, we'll put this person in. No, we'll change the formation. We'll do this. We'll do that. So we've actually ended up creating 2 versions of the starting 11. We've got our all-stars, as in the names you would expect to see. And then you've got our underrated players of the season as well. And we've got a championship season of the team. No, other way around, team of the season. So let's start with our all-stars. So up front, we've got your mate Liz Turland, Blackstenius and Shaw, followed by James, Hobbinger and Cuthbert, Carter, Greenwood, Fisk and Koivisto in defence, with Keating in goal. Is that who we expected to see? Anyone would like to argue about any of those places? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Or do we think ultimately that's probably a good 11, do we think?
I think there is an argument. If we weren't trying to be so fair, if we were just picking purely with not kind of imposing limits on teams, I think there's an argument for F. Perise at right back. I think there's an argument for Yui Hasegawa.
We discussed Hasegawa, didn't we? Because
Yeah.
we were like, oh, we've got too many Chelsea, we've got too many City. So yeah, don't worry. So yeah, even in the comments, no Hasegawa. Yes, we did discuss her. We were just very aware we didn't want to overrun with City players or indeed any other team with that one. Yeah, it was hard though, wasn't it? Rosie, I can see you've got an extra head now.
I just had to have Jess Carter in it. I mean, she's been unreal. Genuinely, you think? I mean, Millie Bright is sort of a staple for Chelsea. She's just always there. So when you don't have her, Jess Carter has just stepped up so much. And I think I can say the same with Erin Cuthbert and Eve Charles in terms of captaincy. And they've been brilliant as co-captains, but I just can't speak more highly of her. And if she doesn't stay, we've got some problems.
You will march yourself down there and you will tell her that you need to stay. But she's really matured, hasn't she? And I've thought this the last couple of seasons, she's really come into her own and become, like you said, like a really good leader of the team. Because I remember seeing her a couple of years ago and thinking, oh, she's really good, but there's no consistency there. And I think we saw with the Chelsea documentary that came out years ago, it was still very much her in the process of finding out who she was as a footballer, who she was as an athlete, kind of where kind of the next step of her kind of journey was. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, hasn't it, watching her grow into the place she is.
The Chelsea documentary is so funny because you look at it and Emma's just whipping her into shape. have to get serious, and she did. Genuinely, if you look where she is now to where she was in that documentary, it's insane. The progress she's made, and I think a lot of that is due to Emma Hayes, but also the sheer mentality that you have to say, I want to play for England, this is what I need to do, and then do it. That's unreal.
Yeah, because a lot of people maybe in that situation be like, it's too hard, I'm not doing it. But no, she put her head down and she got to work. Absolutely. Chloe, are you happy with that 11, or are you more excited about the underrated one?
More excited about the underrated one. No, I mean, I'm excited about that one, but I do think this is a good team. And like you said, we were all having the difficult conversation about who do we put in, who do we leave out, who do we think has actually been like the all-star team. But I think it's a good team. I mean, Emma Blackstenius has been phenomenal. I think Cuthbert has been absolutely insane. And been really impressed with Kiara Keating, especially because she's still so young as well. And the way she has stepped up in the absence of Roebuck, she's just been, I can't speak higher of Keating. Like her age, her experience, like she's been so good in goal, and I kind of hope she starts. I mean, she won't start, let's be real, it'll be Mary Earps, but I'd like her to start one of the England games because I just think that experience would be key for her, and I think she has earned it. She deserves it.
Yeah.
She's been amazing. She's been a huge part of why City got to the title race as well, I think. And I really like her.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you like her because she's 13. Right. Are we ready for the underrated 11? This is the one where we did get really excited because these are more, I don't want to say fan favorites, but just like underrated, like for the best reasons. Like literally no one's talking about them apart from us. So here we go. We've got Ueki and Leon up front. We've got Katya, that's nice. We've got Artanen, Sumanen, Rantala. Then we've got Missy Kearns, Pacheco, Clark, Sissoko, and Brosnan in goal. Not gonna lie, I prefer that team. With that one. If anyone missed it before, Snoise, according to some people, sounds like that's nice. So that is our running podcast joke, just in case anyone missed it. So what do we think? Emma, what do you think of this underrated team? Which one do you prefer, the all-stars or the underrated?
Oh, I prefer the underrated. It's nice to see Pacheco getting the recognition she deserves.
Yes, absolutely, because we've talked about it a lot, haven't we? She's such a worker. She doesn't give up. She's constantly chasing down the ball, and deserves at least a chance at England, doesn't she?
100%, yeah.
Yeah. Serena, when you're watching this back, I know you're at camp at the minute, but if you do want to give Maz a shout, would be more than happy to have her. Paul, I know you really loved the Spurs twins in the middle there. Tell us why you nominated them.
Well, I love that we're getting tactically analysed for our teams, because like the bird saying, who's going to play 6 in our All-Star team? It's like, well, it's an All-Star team, so. But Herbin during Cuthbert can sit there. It's a one pick. Yeah. But this team, you've got 2 of them, and the reason I love the Finns, the Spurs Finns, Olga Artin and Evelina Sumanen, is because they work together so well. They just do the job so well, and they do it without any recognition.
Yeah,
and it's a crap job. It's like I think it was Eric Cantona who used to refer to them as, or possibly Zinedine Zidane, who's referred to the water carriers of midfield, who just kind of moved the ball around and were there to let the flash players play. And Grace Clinton doesn't do anything without these 2 behind her. She just doesn't. Personally, I think Clinton's a bit overrated as well, but that is because I think the media loves to look for the next big England player, and I think for me that's Jess Park, not Grace Clinton. But
Oh, Jess Park wasn't on the tip. Oh, see, there's so many people. Like, it's so hard to just pick 11. Sorry, yeah.
But those two are just the very definition of quiet efficiency. They're the type of, they're like Yutarantal, actually. We've got 3 Finns across that midfield because they just do their jobs so well. But because their jobs are doing the simple things really well and not cracking in the ball from 30 yards or flash,
Yeah.
people don't notice them. But they're one of those things like, if you know, you know. And
If you really watch,
And Rantala as well has been one of my favourite players this season because she's just been her on one side, Shannon O'Brien on the other. If they were playing for Liverpool or a Man United, people would be singing their praises week in, week out. Because they're playing for Leicester, they don't really get noticed.
Yeah, because we said before, a lot of these players for kind of mid-table downwards aren't household names yet, and it's not because they're not good; it's because no one is talking about them and no one's picking them up. Yes, you're absolutely right. So we need to get this circulated and get people talking about the people in this list. Chloe, talk to us about Courtney Brosnan.
Our court. I love our court. She's been insane. She's been absolutely phenomenal for Everton. The way she commands the pitch. I mean, you can hear her all the way from probably Goodison. To be fair, she's so loud. She's so vocal. She's always saying what to do, where to go, and all that jazz and stuff. And I just think she's been absolutely amazing. I mean, have we had a great season? No. But we've had our court in goal, and I think that means more than it means nothing. But our court has actually been really, really good, and I just love watching her, and I can't wait till next season when we can hopefully actually do something better and reach top 6 again. And I reckon it is down to her, the way she does command the pitch, the way she controls the pitch, the way she just is the voice the majority of the time. And she's such a lovely person as well. When we spoke to her that game that time, she was so nice. And I just really rate her, and I just don't think enough people talk about how good our court actually is.
We need t-shirts like Justice for Court. On Zoom. In fact, justice for everyone on this list, to be fair. Rosie, I haven't actually yet, have I? What do you think about underrated players? Anyone that's caught your eye this season?
I think Missy Buchanan seems to play for England. I know she's with the under-23s, but the fact she hasn't got a senior called up yet is wild. I mean, talk about Maz Pacheco, definitely. But Missy, I just don't understand it. Is she on the reserve? I think she's on the reserve list, but she hasn't got a proper call up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not.
Yeah, because I think when we all saw that name, we were like, "Oh, that's new. That's different. Look at what Serena's doing." Yeah, absolutely. Liverbirds just said Fuka or Curry in for Missy Bort. Yeah, again, we did talk about both of those players as well. Again, it's trying to, if we could have everyone in the starting 11, we would. It's overrun the pitch, but we would. Doesn't mean to say we didn't have any subs for these teams. We do. We have a massive long list of them. But this is kind of one that we mainly all agreed on, despite our differences with that one. Any final thoughts before we move on to the championship, or are we all good?
I think because we're getting asked, obviously, by Liverbird, who I'm assuming is a Liverpool fan.
One would assume, yes.
One would assume. Fuka Nagano, I love her as a player because, again, she's very Japanese. She just works her absolute backside off and does the job. But the reason I picked Missy Bo-Kearns is because I think she could be the women's team's version of Steven Gerrard. Scouse born and bred and lead that team for years and be the emotional heart of that team. And that's why she got in just ahead, I think, of Fukunaga for me.
Yeah, again, it was tight, wasn't it? It was really, really down to the wire who we chose. But this is why we have this live discussion, as people can give us their thoughts as well. Okay, our final one of the evening then is our championship. I tried to get a bit more artistic with the shirts on this one. I do apologize. I had fun. It was great. So we have, of course, Claudia Morn in goal. We've got Mott, Peake, Westrup, and Rowe in defence. We've got Fenton, Blanchard, and Ag in midfield. And then up front, we've got Hughes, Goodwin, and Johns as well. Now, Paul, I know you've got a lot of favourite players in here. Did anyone else have any thoughts, or are we quite happy with that championship side from what we can see? And then we'll have a go. We all good? Okay, Paul. Who are some of your favourite players in this lineup, and why did you choose them?
I mean, you've sung the praises of Claudia Moen, and you could probably sing the praises of Bree Westrup as well.
And Tash Fenton, she's phenomenal player.
Oh, Tash Fenton is a player who was the emotional heart of Blackburn, and then she moved to Sunderland under the radar and became one of the emotional hearts of Sunderland as well. So,
and she really, as well. I don't know if anyone remembers her signing video for her new contract, but they really made a lot of it. They really put a lot into it, and she kind of said, this is. I feel really happy here. I really believe in the journey and the future of the club and what they're gonna, what their future plans look like. And I think for a club like Sunderland, who has had, some fantastic players come through the ranks, some fantastic glory days, had quite a rough season last season, but have clawed it back to finish where they did. And I think the future is just going to get brighter, especially with players of their standards kind of committing to it. And committing to that future. So honestly, if you haven't been watching the championship this season, you need to next season, because it's so much young talent. But yeah, sorry, Paul, continue.
Speaking of young talent, actually, seamless segue. The two Southampton players in defence, Millie Mott and Paige Peake, combined age of 39. So, and Millie Mott is an amazing fullback. She just never stops running. Always very visible as well, because she's aggressively ginger. She's very visibly.
What's the description?
She's never seen a 50-50 challenge she didn't like, and she plays with a chip on her shoulder, but in a good way. Paige Peake is Leah Williamson regen. She's tall and she's composed on the ball. She takes corners for Southampton as well, which is weird. A centre back taking corners, but she can ping a ball onto a sixpence. Beth Rowe has been amazing for Charlton for the years. I'm sure Graham will love us picking a Charlton player as well. So that's your defence. Tash Fenton, we've talked about. Lily Ag is just very steady.
Yeah.
And, will play the number 6 role. Annabelle Blanchard, settle in, because I could talk here all night about how good she is. She is Grace Clinton without the hype. She's that good.
Very good.
And hopefully next season with Crystal Palace, everyone will see that. She's been it for several years. She was amazing for Blackburn. She can land a ball on a sixpence, put a ball on a postage stamp from 35 yards.
Where are you getting all these sixpences from? I don't think they've been in circulation for years. Where have you?
Oh, well, yeah. I've gone up the Black Country Museum. They just have them lying around nearby,
Very good.
And then the front three, Elise Hughes, 20 goal. You can't argue with her, although she is out for most of next season because she's done her ACL. So it'll be interesting to see how Palace replace her. She won't get a chance in the Championship. Izzy Goodwin is the female Erling Haaland.
Yes. I saw her at Villa Park actually on the final day. Went past her.
Yeah, she'd have been hopefully she'd have been watching her old teammates and just kind of keeping an eye. But she's like Myra Ramirez in that there aren't many players who play like her.
Mm.
She's not perhaps got the strength of Myra Ramirez, but she's got that direct running style. She'll go straight for the heart of the defence, and like you say, we've talked about her a lot, and I would be amazed if there haven't been WSL teams taking note of her.
Mm.
And Carly Johns I picked because Watford obviously went down, but Carly Johns was among the top goal scorers coming up from the third tier from Oxford United, and she can finish. She's got that eye for goal, and I wanted to with her. I wanted to kind of recognise some of the lower teams, some of the players who you wouldn't normally pick, and so that's
she's been one of their standout players, though, hasn't she? She's been, when they've needed her.
Yeah, she absolutely has been, and so she was when I was looking down towards the lower end of the table. There were players who should have been in there. Perhaps Beth Heppel should have been in there for Durham, Miss Durham, because she's incredible, and I did enjoy her call out the FA the other day. When they were all talking about mental health provision for players. And Beth Heppel just tweeted, "Oh, that's great, but nobody in the Championship can access it." And it was like, "Yes, Beth, good on you."
Yeah, she's quite vocal on social media. Yeah, there's been a couple of things where I've gone, ooh. But yeah, no, she was absolutely right for calling that one out because they should absolutely be able to be a part of it.
And I think if you were picking players who were iconic. If you were picking an iconic Championship team, Beth Heppel would be in it because she's only ever played for Durham, played over 200 appearances, loves a long-range goal, but she didn't make the cut this time round. And so,
hey, there's always next season.
There's always next season.
We'll keep a close eye and we'll do it.